welcome everybody to today's session, which is on the future of social sciences commercialisation. And we're going to be exploring where the biggest opportunities lie for the commercialisation of social sciences, how academia and industry can look to take advantage, and on Aspect's future plans in terms of driving and supporting social science research commercialisation.
What I've loved about the Aspect projects is, by their very definition, they start with the society that we're in. They're inherently grounded and human.
Arguably, by including the social sciences in parity with engineering and more traditional STEM subjects, you end up with technologies and innovation which are much more appropriate for human culture.
And then the other side of it for the future of commercialization is actually capturing the true value. At the moment, it's often focused on income return and job creation, but actually if there is a cost saving or a benefit, if you've created a social enterprise and you're helping out your local policy, or, your local government, how do we capture that benefit of saving the government money because something has been commercialized or spun out across that? And how are we looking at that within our metrics and our reporting structure?
IP protection is sometimes misunderstood because when you're working with technology transfer, there's this notion that if it hasn't got a patent, it has no value. But I can tell you quite concretely that probably more than half the businesses we've invested in have significant intellectual property, but it's nothing to do with the patent. It might be a black box algorithm, it might be a brand, it might be a method, it might be an individual. It might feel counterintuitive, but there's a lot of venture philanthropy that also funds innovation. It's not just investment funds, it's not just private equity. A lot of philanthropists also have quite a deep stake in innovation because they realize that as philanthropists, you can take a risk on funding essential innovation, which otherwise is not yet commercialized or may not have a commercial purpose.
It's on you to tell them the advantages that you offer them.
Yeah.
If you expect people to engage with you.
That you say about building those, raising awareness on both sides, I suppose, isn't it? Both for business, for startups, certainly that there's stuff out there that might be relevant to them, but also to academics that they have some knowledge that others might be interested in that they hadn't necessarily thought about. Do we have that right scaffolding of funding going from grants, in the right type of way through, because as you were saying, through sort of that more sort of venture philanthropy out into the more traditional, as it were, classic investor space.
UKRI is developing a definition of commercialization, which we're hoping is actually very inclusive and helps to maybe broaden the opportunities that people see that they're part of. On the funding side, not a surprising question in a way. And the answer to that is there other sources of funding for the social sciences at the moment? And the answer for that is slightly dependent on spending review funding. We're in a spending review period. But we've also just got a new commercialization center hub in UKRI. And actually, we're really looking across us and how do we draw together what we do? So we're not necessarily doing aspects in isolation.
Don't get too hungry to take other people's cash. Things like venture capital comes with a whole bunch of strings, namely somebody else who has an opinion on what you should be doing.
One of the common fallacies of international policy, and it's not just a UK thing, but we're particularly prone to this right now, is to look at what's happening in the US and think, we should just do that. We should build a Silicon Square. We should do this. We should do that. Now, here's the little hidden secret. The reason the US can do that is because you have practically unlimited capital at practically zero cost of capital. Our version, so our ARPA would have much more capital limitation. The capital wouldn't be free. It would be coming onto public purse at a cost. And so we cannot replicate that.
The issue also about absorptive capacity is critical. And we've got an issue there about absorptive capacity of by industry of innovation. We know in the UK we're very good at innovation, we're not very good at absorbing it.